Do you think you're playing football? Do you think you're playing football? Do you think you're playing football? You are showing me nothing.
Fires, Mike Sims, Walker, knocked down.
Oh my God! Davis is going running all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again.
Jackson takes it himself. Look at him turn back and forth. Oh! He broke his ankles.
I have never seen this before in my life.
Still looking. Firing. Near corner. It's caught!
Denver! Unbelievable!
And welcome to the Fourth Down Fiasco.
Hello and welcome to the Fourth Down Fiasco, your go-to podcast for an in-depth exploration of all things football. Each week, we dissect the highs and lows of last week's games, offering expert analysis, or so we call it, player insight, and memorable moments. I am Jordan Pryor, not to be confused with Buffalo's Jordan Poyer, and with me is the brains of the operation, the Pittsburgh pimp, Tanner Vinsky, and the president of the Joe Burrow fan club, Danny Weber. Say hello to the people, y'all.
Hey.
Yo.
The rundown of today's podcast will go like this. In our first segment, we'll talk about the national championship game, along with some head coaching drama coming out of the NFL. Then we'll cover all of last week's games in segment 2, followed by playoff predictions and a little side note from the Fiasco team to end the show. All good news, I promise. So with that, it's fourth down and goal to go. Dan and Tan, are we going to win today?
Not if the refs are involved.
Okay, don't be like Detroit and still complaining. Don't be like that.
Hey.
All right, so let's go ahead and dive into that national championship game and talk about how McCarthy was able to get an A on the class project without actually participating.
He had 10 passes for 140 yards and won a national championship.
It's okay, he meditated beforehand.
That's true. Andy.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, I will say I've never seen this happen before, but in the middle of the fourth quarter, his therapist came over to him on the sidelines to do a mental health check.
Wait, no way.
Vibe?
Yep.
Yeah, seriously.
Huh?
Yeah, the therapist came on at the sidelines to do a mental health check on J.J. McCarthy during the fourth quarter.
Dude, me and my sorry, go for it, Jordan.
No, you're good. I was just going to say, I saw somebody who tweeted out a picture of an old 60s Super Bowl, and a guy was smoking a cigarette during halftime.
Yep. Super Bowl one.
The difference in eras, but
yeah.
After, what you got, Tan?
Oh, just me and my buddy Ian, obviously living here in Salt Lake. We were just saying J.J. McCarthy should have gone to BYU. He's the most, BYU looking and acting person I've ever seen in my life.
He's an off-brand Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
So plain vanilla.
Yes. But about the actual game, I don't know how you give up over 300 rushing yards in a single game.
I mean, who was it? Howard that busted off 2 giant runs. One for 48 and 52, I think.
Yeah. On one of them, I forget which one it was. There was a big missed holding penalty that wasn't called, but still. Breaking off 2 runs for almost 100 yards and then have Corum go for another 200 is absurd.
What was the yardage at the end of the half? It was 234? They had 234 rushing yards in a half.
That's ridiculous.
It's something insane.
That is
I've never
wild.
seen a team get that destroyed in the run game. And I saw towards the end of the game, Washington had 50 rushing yards compared to 300. And I was like, I don't think I've ever seen it. That's video game stats. That's someone playing Madden against their little brother.
I mean, this game kind of looks like it, honestly. If you just look at the box score alone.
Yeah.
And it felt like it definitely in the second half. I mean, it was very competitive for the first half, even with the insane rushing production from Michigan. Mm-hmm. But that second half, it got away from Washington.
There were a couple drives stalled because of penalties. But yeah, Washington couldn't get anything going. Penix got hit. I've never seen a college offensive line that bad.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
No
Penix had no time.
he couldn't even get the third step back before there were two guys in his face, and every offensive lineman was getting beat. It wasn't just like there was a hole somewhere in the offensive line. The entire line was getting their ass whooped.
Yeah, like on that 4th and 15 at the end of the game, where the offsetting penalties had them redo it. That first time they attempted it, they had 3 free rushers. Mm-hmm. The entire right side of the line just forgot to do anything. And like your season is on the line, and you just don't block anyone.
I saw the most ridiculous picture, and freaking Stephon Diggs is to blame for this. I saw some kid from Washington who was sitting watching Michigan celebrate or whatever, and I'm like, my brother in Christ, that game was not close. Like it'd be different if you lose by 3, maybe even a touchdown, but like y'all got wiped. Like. Go to the locker room, shower, hang out with your teammates. Like, if you're a senior, go hit the bars and call it a night. You got whooped. It was, very lopsided affair.
Go take your NIL money and have some fun for the night in Houston.
Hey,
that's a good idea.
There's a lot you could do there.
Yeah. That game very one-sided. Go ahead, Tanner.
I think even with Michael Penix just not having any time in the pocket, he also just played a bad game. Mm-hmm. I mean, when he was healthy for the first half, there was multiple missed touchdowns he had. I mean, and the broadcast was showing it quite a bit, where he just had people wide open. And he had very little time to react. But if you're a first-round caliber quarterback, like you gotta see those.
Some of them, though, he still made it complete. Like he still had a completion, but instead of a 5-yard completion, it would have been 50 or a touchdown. Yeah,
a lot of missed open receivers. There was one guy who was streaking towards the sidelines a little bit, and it was just a little too far. And I mean, I still think that the particular play I'm thinking of, the receiver still should have caught it. Like it did touch his fingertips, but he had to like really outstretch for it, and it was just like, dude, if you hit him in stride, he's taking that to the house. I think that was in the first quarter, but it was. I felt bad for the guy. He seemed a little rattled on the big stage, and it didn't look like him the rest of the year. But it could have been a very different game if a couple plays went one way, went another way. Yeah, or if the offensive line could block, and you don't have just other giant humans trying to hit you at full speed. Half a second into the snap.
Yeah, but I still like Penix. I think. He'll be I don't know if he'll be a superstar. If with the right coaching, he might be able to be a pretty solid quarterback. But it'll be interesting.
And I'm sure this will, just the way, like how reactionary scouts are and GMs are, this will take his draft stock a little bit. But I think that's going to be good for those teams that are down a quarterback, that are fringe playoff contenders.
Yeah,
you're going to want a guy like this to drop.
Have him sit behind someone for a year and let him start the year after. But, I mean, it'll also depend on his pro day. If he goes to his pro day and lights it up, who knows? Same, like I brought up Zach Wilson before. That's the only reason Wilson went number 2.
Yeah, because that one pass that went viral.
To a wide open wide receiver with no pressure.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Exactly.
One pass made him $42 million.
That's crazy. That's money we'll never see.
Before we jump off to the NFL news, did you guys see that Michigan players were stealing their seats out of their locker room that said national championship game like on the back? It was just like folding chairs. Everyone just walked out with one.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah,
I like it. Oh, I did see that Jim Harbaugh kind of incidentally hinted to coming back to Michigan next year.
He was never leaving.
No, he is a god amongst men over there, so he's not going anywhere.
I'll be curious what happens next year though if they can't cheat the whole year. But
I don't know. I it does seem like he's gonna stay, but I think with winning a national championship and how consistent he's had the Michigan program be his whole time there. I mean, we can give him flack for blowing in certain scenarios, but Michigan has always been a top contender since he's been there.
They're a powerhouse. Yeah.
I think, and especially with the Chargers job being open, I think it's going to, if there's an enticing offer by the Chargers organization, if you're Jim Harbaugh, it would be kind of hard to turn down coaching Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
At the NFL
That's
level.
fair. That's fair.
I do and I don't like Herbert, but that's my own thing. But if you
don't like Herbert?
To an extent. It's not like I don't think he's a good quarterback. I just, coming out of the same draft class with Burrow and all that, I have my own 2020 draft class quarterback rankings of who I do.
Yeah, I mean, Burrow's better than Herbert, but
Yeah.
I think he's definitely a top 5 talent in the NFL.
Oh, I'm not saying he isn't. I personally don't like it, but I'm not going to like drop him in my rankings because of it.
Also, Chargers are not going to be the only team with some coaching job opportunities open. Vrabel getting fired by Tennessee. I don't think anybody's necessarily shocked, but it is a dumpster fire over there in Nashville.
Yeah. I didn't expect it to happen this year. Just because.
Well, I thought Vrabel was going to walk. I was extremely surprised they fired him because Vrabel has been their best coach since they had Steve McNair.
Yeah, and the quarterbacks he's had to deal with. He had Mariota for like 21 games. He had Will Levis. He's had Tannehill's been good, but I mean, whenever your best quarterback in a 10-year or 8-year stretch is Ryan Tannehill, there have been better. Is what I'm saying. Yeah, but I think what started their downfall is that he got vetoed on that A.J. Brown trade. He did not want to trade A.J. Brown. And there's a video on draft day when that trade went through, and he looks pissed.
Oh, I would be too.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's good for Vrabel. Vrabel needed to be freed anyways. I have faith in Vrabel at least to be a good NFL coach and to, do some good stuff with someone else. I just think that the Tennessee organization right now is just – they're not the brightest bulb in the pack,
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Where do you think Vrabel's going to go, Tanner?
Most likely to the Patriots, just because of the history there and with Belichick most likely being gone. I think that makes the most sense. I don't think it's my favorite landing spot for him, though, because I don't think that really moves the needle for the Patriots. I think having a defensive-minded coach that can build a culture like Vrabel is really important, but that team desperately needs some offensive life, and Vrabel's not going to be able to bring that right away.
Would it move the stick if he brought Henry with him, Derrick Henry?
No, not necessarily. I mean, that
you're still having to work through Mac Jones.
Yeah,
you're working through Mac Jones, and yeah, they could, but also it's another thing where you're just bringing in an aging running back to an aging roster. Like, New England has been this decrepit team since Brady has left, and I don't think taking on Vrabel, who's an established coach, and bringing in Derrick Henry, who's in the twilight of his career, having both of those things going in, that doesn't reset the culture for New England. It's just more of the same. And I think they need a young offensive mind. They need to bring in young players. They need to have these things going. Or it's just I just feel like it's not moving the needle too much. I think they'll be good with Vrabel, but I don't like the fit for New England. Mm-hmm. I think the fit that I like a lot more for Vrabel, honestly, is with the Commanders. I think they desperately need a new culture change. I mean, they've needed a culture change for the last 30 years of their career. Like, ever since they won those Super Bowls in the 90s, they've been desperately needing a culture to be established. So I think you bring a Vrabel, who's a great culture guy. You pair him with Eric Bieniemy, who was having Sam Howell throwing 400-yard passing games consistently. I think that could be a really good fit and really fun for that organization, and could hopefully bring him into the freaking 21st century.
Yeah, hopefully. If he does go to Washington, I hope he can get Bieniemy or whatever his name is to stay, because I know he's being looked at some head coaching jobs as well. But I'd like to see Vrabel in Atlanta, to be honest. They already have a solid defense. With him knowing defense can bolster that defense even better than it was this year. And he'd actually probably use Bijan Robinson.
And crazy enough, the coaching position over in Atlanta is wide open right now.
Because Arthur Smith just got axed. Which I think we all saw that coming.
Oh, yeah. It's probably the best thing for Atlanta.
Yeah. I know last time Tanner and I were on, we talked about Atlanta not using Bijan as anything, and we all expected Smith to get fired.
Yeah, I mean, he is your best offensive weapon. Why are you not using him?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think it's particularly close.
And
Use him.
Tanner, here's a question. If Vrabel goes to Atlanta and Tannehill being a free agent, you bring Tannehill to Atlanta for a single year, do they win the South?
Probably. But I don't think it's like convincingly. I think Atlanta is easily the most talented roster in that division. I mean, the offensive skill power you have with that good offensive line, with Drake London, with Bijan Robinson, with Kyle Pitts, you get somebody who can just like not be Desmond Ridder.
A game manager?
You probably win 8 to 10
Desmond
games,
Ritter's not even a game manager.
No, I'm saying
Desmond
bring in a
Ritter's-
game manager.
I see what you're saying. Okay, I was like, hold on.
Bring a
No,
guy
no,
who can throw for 250
Desmond
yards
Ritter's
a game.
not a quarterback. Desmond Ridder just scammed the entire NFL into drafting him. I don't know what he's one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen play. Him and Zach Wilson are in my tier of like, I hope to God I never have to see that guy throw a football again.
It's because he took UC to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, which is an accomplishment in itself, but
As a non-power 5, congrats.
yeah, he scammed everybody into thinking that he was an NFL caliber starting quarterback because he is far from it.
Yeah.
So I think Vrabel and Tannehill absolutely could push that team to the playoffs, but again, you need a franchise QB there, and I think if you get that, you're gonna be fine. And I think Vrabel is also a really good fit for Atlanta. I would like that a lot.
Yeah, I'd be scared of Atlanta if Vrabel went there. Give him 2 years, whatever. Get him a quarterback. That's the only thing they're really missing. Maybe some edge rushers, but other than
Yeah, they need some defensive help. I mean,
Their
I like that they got
safeties are
Jesse
good.
Bates. Yeah.
I couldn't tell you who their linebackers are. But
No, me either, but I think they definitely need defensive line help. They don't have a good pass rush.
no, but still, if your hole is a D line and I guess the biggest hole is a quarterback, that's still a pretty solid team.
Yeah, and I maybe they take Browning. Maybe they grab Browning from y'all.
That's
I mean,
better than who they have.
Yeah.
Browning did say he's a top 32 quarterback in the NFL. So
and I believe him.
And honestly, he might be.
yeah, from what he showed in the 7 games he played, I'd start
I have
him.
no problem saying that he's a starter. Yeah.
No. If I didn't have Burrow, I'd be fine with Browning. And I mean, he said the same thing. He's like, I'm a top 32 quarterback. However, I'm just behind a top 5.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think was a great response to that question, honestly.
Yeah.
Still supporting your guy while giving yourself confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be fine with Brownie. I definitely would want an upgrade over him if I was an NFL roster. But I definitely think he's a good stopgap. He's what you want in a stopgap quarterback for sure.
If we had our draft position this year and we didn't have Burrow next year, I'd be fine with Browning playing 17 games.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. That's what I mean out of a fine.
Oh, I thought you were like happy with him being a franchise
not a
guy.
franchise
I'm
quarterback.
Like, I don't know
Not quite
about that.
there. Not quite there.
I don't
Need
want a
little bit
top
more.
32 quarterback as my franchise quarterback.
No.
No, yeah. We always want a top 10. Well, cool. That takes us to the end of our coaching drama. So we're going to kick it over real quick to a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
This podcast is sponsored by Hair Club.
Fellas, are you losing your hair? Hairline receding, maybe? In the past, we as men had limited options. We could either rock the grandpa hairline, shave it, or resort to a very obvious-looking toupee. Well, the good news is there's an option for you now. Hair Club is a hair restoration and hair replacement service with offices spanning across the United States. Hair Club is different from other hair restoration places because they use cutting-edge technology like TricoView hair and scalp analysis, utilizing micromagnification to examine hair and scalp health. This provides better diagnostics of your hair and determines solutions to stop your personal hair loss. Solutions range from EXT extreme hair therapy to keep and regrow your existing hair by reactivating follicles and adding volume, X-Strands hair systems that is color and texture matched to perfection to blend with the rest of your hair, or even hair transplant solutions for those who are further along in their hair loss. I personally use the X-Strand system and have never turned back. My wife thinks I'm as sexy as ever and my confidence is at an all-time high, but I'm just a podcaster, right? Well, Hair Club has become such a renowned name that even dudes like two-time NASCAR champion Joey Logano and primetime Emmy nominee Frankie Muniz both utilize Hair Club services. And if you ultimately decide on a service, be sure to use the code FOURTH, that's FOURTH, for 10% off everything you purchase. And get this, Hair Club is currently running a promotion for the month of January, and all their services are 20% off. So you can stack those savings with the code for a total of 30% off of your final purchase. There's no better time to get your hair back than now. So fellas, boost your confidence, get that look you want. Go to hairclub.com today.
Are you looking for a podcast to advertise your business? Well, you're in luck. Here at the Fourth Down Fiasco, we're looking for show sponsors. Whether you want to be a platinum sponsor and be mentioned at the beginning and end of every episode, or you just want a simple 30 or 60-second ad, we got you covered. If you're interested in having a spot on our show, you can reach us at fourthdownfiasco@gmail.com. That's fourthdownfiasco@gmail.com. We are excited to hear from you and even more excited to have you on the show. Join the Fiasco family now.
And welcome back, everyone. So we're going to dive into this past week's slate of games. Since a lot of these involved a lot of second-string quarterbacks and a lot of just uneventful things, we're going to breeze over a majority of these games, but there are a couple that I do have starred that we're going to talk about. So Steelers 17, Ravens 10. No surprise there with the backup quarterback for the Ravens. Texans 23, Colts 19. I have this one starred for Tanner.
Yeah, so I think one that shows – I think it's really interesting. We talked about it a little bit last week where we were both we were saying that we wanted Houston in over Indianapolis because Houston has a little bit more exciting factors around them than Indy does. I think although Shane Steichen has done a great job of turning around the Colts, I don't see Gardner Minshew leading the team to a playoff win. But with Houston winning this game in the fashion they did with C.J. Stroud leading a game-winning drive, I think we could see the Texans realistically upset the Browns. I don't know if I would bet for it. I mean, I'm crossing every single finger I've ever seen in my life to see the Browns get knocked out right away. But I think with this, it's going to be a really interesting one. Narratively, it's going to be really interesting. Just, Deshaun's new team playing Deshaun's old team. He's sitting on the bench, not even playing with his shoulder surgery. You got a brand new head coach coming in, DeMeco Ryans, the first ever Pro Bowler, All-Pro for the Houston Texans, leading them to the playoffs in his first year as a head coach. C.J. Stroud looking like the best rookie quarterback we've ever seen.
Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco. Yeah.
But I saw a stat. It was the first time a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback won the division.
Yeah, it's insanely impressive what DeMeco Ryans was able to do with this roster. Because the thing is, before this team came into play, before they got C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson, and DeMeco Ryans, those three things changed this team from being a bottom 5 roster in the NFL to a playoff team.
They did draft well and picked up Noah Brown in free agency, drafted tanked out. Those three things are
good.
But look at their receiving core. Nico Collins was a third-round receiver. Mm-hmm. Tank Caddell was a third-round receiver.
Yeah, they don't have number one.
Dalton Schultz was a reject from Dallas. Noah Brown, didn't he also come from Dallas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Noah Brown was the reject. Dalton Schultz was. We like Dalton.
But you got the Cowboy rejects.
Yeah.
You got third-round wide receivers. You got a rookie quarterback. You got a rookie head coach. These guys way overexceeded their expectations. Oh, yeah. This roster should suck. These guys should have gone 3-14.
Yeah.
Or 4-13 or 3-13 or 15 or whatever it is.
They should be comparing Bryce Young and CJ Stroud to how bad they played this year, not by how polar opposite they were this year.
Yeah.
Right.
So I love this Houston team. I'm rooting for them so hard. I think they're gonna be extremely exciting in the playoffs. The only concerns is their running game sucks. Devin Singletary has been doing better in the second half of the season, but he's not a reliable back.
Yeah.
And again, also another reject. We got the Bills. The Bills' running game has sucked for 10 years, and they couldn't even
he was the heart and soul of that run game.
Yeah, exactly. And then we got him leading the run game for Houston.
Hey, a change of scenery helps players rejuvenate their careers.
It does.
for sure.
But again, it's a really tough ask for Houston because one, the running game is weak, and that defense really doesn't have enough pieces to be game changing. It's Will Anderson Jr., right? That's his name.
Yeah, sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's insane. That's a great piece to have. Derek Stingley's insane, but outside of that, the rest of their defense is pretty tough.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm excited for that whole division next year with Richardson coming back, because the Colts almost won their division with a backup quarterback.
And the Colts probably win that game with Richardson because that pass Gardner made for that 4th and 2 was behind the receiver. And yeah, the receiver absolutely needed to catch that to get the first down. But yeah, it was a bad pass from Gardner. And Gardner did not have a good game with, playoffs on the line.
No.
Whereas, CJ Stroud played his heart out. So.
And at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was at home. It was at Indy.
I think Houston has an edge with it being at home against Cleveland. But
don't jump too far ahead now, Danny. We got to talk about playoff predictions in its own segment. Yeah, I see you trying to jump the gun, big fella. Let's see. For the next couple of games, we had Browns, Bengals 14-31, Vikings 20, Lions 30, Jags 20, Titans 28. This one I have start as well.
I'm going to bring up Cincinnati, Cleveland real quick, just because with Cincinnati beating Cleveland, it is the first time since the Super Bowl merger that all 4 teams in the division finished over 500.
Oh yeah, I forgot I was supposed to start that one too.
Okay.
Sorry, Danny.
That's okay. I have to.
Well, there's not much to talk about from the game. The Browns backup sucked.
Yeah, they played a lot of defensive starters, which surprised me more than I thought they would. But yeah, so Cincinnati finishing last in the division at 9-8 would have won the NFC South.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, you would have been in contention. You guys went 1-5 in the division, so you might not have won.
Well, against Buccaneers, Falcons, and the Saints,
you would have done better than 1-5
than against Baltimore, Browns, and Pittsburgh.
For sure.
I was just going to say, going into the season, being a Cowboys, Steelers, and Cincinnati Bengals fan, I would have not projected the Bengals to have done the worst out of the 3 of our teams. So.
Oh yeah, I thought I had that on lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you did too, my guy.
Yeah. Let's go. We take the silver.
We take the silver.
A dub is a dub.
Hey, I'm on the podium. That's all I care about. All right, Jacksonville, Tennessee.
Yeah, Jacksonville, Tennessee. Man.
Wow.
I will before we just absolutely dump all over Jacksonville. I will say, what a final game from Derrick Henry. We are very lucky to have gotten to watch Derrick Henry in Tennessee in our lifetime. Just going out like that in front of the home field, it was awesome. He just a vintage Derrick Henry performance, looking like he was still in his first contract. Just absolutely amazing game from him. It was awesome to watch, and it was so cool also to see Ryan Tannehill saying, you know what, I'm not even going to be on this team. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that Julio Jones gets his incentive. It was Julio Jones, right?
No, Julio Jones on the Eagles.
Oh, sorry, DeAndre Hopkins.
Yep.
My bad. I was thinking about Julio Jones when he was there last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing everything in his power to make sure DeAndre Hopkins hit his incentive during that game was also cool to see. It felt like that team was really united, and again, just going back to the Vrabel thing, it's so stupid to get rid of that guy when you have a win like that revitalizes this franchise. All the people are working together and make sure they're hitting their incentives. Derrick Henry's giving it his all, and you get rid of the guy who's
made it happen.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, Derrick Henry tweeted, he's like, Vrabel was the heart and soul of this whole team, blah, blah, blah. He's like, he's the one guy that I'd want to play with, and whatever his tweet said, but just praising Vrabel.
Yeah.
And any team that picks him up, I will be scared of them in a couple years.
Fair enough. Now, quick question. For Jacksonville, does Blake Bortles win that game?
No.
I had to. I'm sorry. It was
I would love to say yes, but no. The boat would not have that one down.
Fine.
Goodness.
All right, so
forgot about that guy.
yeah. Hey,
Oh,
how
I
can you
haven't.
forget?
It's one of those things that you don't want to remember.
I will. This was a fun stat I saw the other day, and I think it's the last 10 or 18 years. It was a long time, but there has only been one double-digit win that the Jaguars have had in the last 10 to 18 years.
And who was the quarterback?
Blake
It was
Bortles.
Blake Bortles,
Woo!
and it was against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Was that the playoff game?
No, the playoff game. That playoff game was insane. That playoff game was 45-42.
Oh, yeah, it was real high.
Blake Bortles threw up 45 points on the Pittsburgh Steelers, which was crazy.
You still get
we went down.
Duval gave
We
up
went down
42.
21-0.
Yeah, but like Jacksonville's defense was real good that year for them to give up 42.
Do not underestimate Ben in a blowout. He will crawl his way back. That's the thing though, is that Steelers team with Big Ben in that Killer's Beast era, if they played 5 quarters of football, they would have won some Super Bowls. But they just always ran out of time. I mean, it was the same thing with the Browns playoff game. We almost won that Browns playoff game, which was crazy because we went down 21-0 in like the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And we almost won that one. So that's the thing. The one, it was a regular season game that they blew us out
Gotcha.
in. But yeah, crazy for the Jags that they have not had more than one double-digit win in that long of a time span.
Yeah, I did not know that one. That's fun. But yeah, it's Jacksonville to just fumble the division away.
Yeah.
Horribly. But hey, we get to see Houston. That's fine.
Fair enough. 2 other shit teams that played: Jets 17, Pats 3. This is
in a
fun
blizzard.
one.
Did you guys like? That was a
I watched
blizzard.
a little bit of it, yeah.
I didn't even turn it on. I was not about to watch Battle of the Mid over there. Falcons 17, Saints 48, and we wanted to talk real quick about Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston.
The people's quarterback.
Hey, he gave Jamal Williams his first touchdown of the year after leading the league in touchdowns the previous season. Good for him, to an extent. Take it away, Tanner.
No, Jameis is a man. I don't know. Like, the first thing that comes to mind with that is just that it's a terrible look that Dennis Allen came out after the game and was like, "Oh, I didn't condone that. That's not the type of coach I want to be. That's not what I want for my players." That shows that you have a divided locker room, that your backup quarterback can rally the troops and be like, "We're not kneeling this shit. We're gonna run in for a touchdown. We're gonna put this up on Atlanta. Screw them." Like, because I guarantee you, in a lot of other teams that have an established coach, that shit would not have happened. They would have heard the coach say, "We're nailing the ball out. We're taking our heads out. We're going to come in with pride." And they wouldn't have done it. Even if Jameis was on that team, that wouldn't have flown. But that just, to me, that does not look good for Dennis Allen, that he could not control Jameis to not do a fake kneel to get Jamal Williams his touchdown.
Yeah.
And Jameis is just, again, it's so hard with Jameis because he's just such a insane personality. Stealing crab legs and doing the shit he does, the 30 for 30 season.
The W, baby. Don't forget eating the W, baby.
Eating the W's, yeah.
The empty briefcase.
The interview he had was just so funny. Like, the amount of disrespect he had for Atlanta was crazy in that interview. Yeah. And just him saying like, "Oh, well, it's 41-17, so I just don't know how much worse it can get."
Yeah.
It's like, bro.
Basically being like, how did that not bother you before?
Yeah.
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 I'm glad at least it was a division game. Like, that's what happens in division games. Like,
but again, that's why, like, if Dennis Allen would have came out after and said like, "Yeah, fuck the Falcons, this is what we do," that's a totally different message. And it's like, there we go, that's some division rivalry. But now it's just like, oh, Dennis Allen has no control of his locker room.
I saw people saying that they needed to cut Jameis, and you shouldn't cut Jameis. Yeah, fire Dennis Allen, bro. Like, it's a great point, Tanner.
Yeah, I will say I saw a clip. I think it was from last year or 2 years ago. Saints Falcons. Falcons were up by 30 on the Saints or something stupid, and they got a strip sack, and dude picked it up, ran it back 95 yards with like a minute and a half left. So I was like, he could have taken a knee, he could have landed on the ball, but no, he decided to pick it up and run all the way back.
Run the score up.
Run it up. They're professionals.
This ain't little league.
Run it up.
There are no participation trophies.
Yep.
We
No
grown
mercy
men
rule.
around here. Yeah.
We saw a couple high score games this year. Raiders, Chargers, Dolphins, Denver, Dolphins, Bills, their first time around.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, run up.
We
that
should
score.
what's it called? We should clip that. You guys ever seen the video of Jameis in the locker room where they like the Saints won? There's like a rave going on in the locker room.
He's on crutches?
Jameis has the crutches. Yeah. We should just have that play in this whole segment.
That's fine. I can do that.
That's awesome. Then to go through, I guess, the last of the games, we will stop to talk about Bills and Dolphins, but other scores: Bucks 9, Panthers 0, Bears 9.
Hey, Panthers got goose egged again.
Goose egg!
Goose egg! That was great. Thank you, Danny. Broncos 14, Raiders 27, Eagles 10, Giants 27.
We called
I'm gonna
that,
hold my
Tanner.
pettiness back. Yeah, good job, y'all. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart.
The Eagles suck, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need to thank us for anything. You need to thank the
That
Eagles for being a terrible
defense really sucks.
Or is AJ Brown's injury serious? I haven't found anything on it.
team. I think he's gonna play next week.
Is he?
I think so.
TJ Watt is out.
It looked nasty. Yeah, TJ Watt is out.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Seahawks 21, Cardinals 20, Chiefs 13, Chargers 12, Rams 21, 49ers 20, Cowboys 38, Commies 10, and then Bills 21, Dolphins 14. And oh my God, if the Bills teammates did not bail out Josh Allen so hard this game.
Before we
Shit
jump
makes
into
me laugh.
you destroying Buffalo, can we talk about how the Chargers ran 80 plays and scored 12 points?
It was glorious. It was awesome to watch that in person.
Tanner was in person. He was texting us. He's like, I think the Chargers have ran like 80 plays and they've scored 12 total points.
I saw the least amount of a team on a football field in my entire life with the Kansas City Chiefs that game. They had, they barely had the ball. It was crazy. The Chargers would just sit there. They would convert every fourth down, every third and fourth down, stall out in the red zone, and kick a field goal. And they did that 4 times and took up pretty much all 4 quarters doing that. And they still lost.
I will say
And
Kansas
seven
City...
of those points came because Easton Stick fumbled and they returned it for a touchdown. So it even adds to I barely saw the Chiefs backups play. It was crazy.
I will say Kansas City still had 59 plays compared to 80. So that's still a lot of plays.
Yeah, and that's just because Blaine Gabbert was just
who knows?
they were just doing little check downs and stuff like that. But it was that was a terrible game to watch. In
The
person.
Chargers
it was
had
so boring.
19 different third downs.
Wow.
Not conversions, but total third downs for 19.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying they converted 19.
No,
They
ran into third down 19 times. 4 times.
Which is insane.
They went for it on 3
God.
times.
Okay, so wow.
Yeah.
SoFi is
That's
beautiful,
crazy.
by the way.
Oh yeah, you were talking about that.
He said go to SoFi.
Yeah, go to SoFi. Don't watch the Week 18 game there, though.
Or buy tickets the day of.
Or just watch games there in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Rams are entertaining because they're also out of SoFi, aren't they?
They are,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, the Rams weren't playing there that weekend.
All right, let's talk about how the Buffalo-Miami game started with pick, fumble, pick.
Oh my God, it was. I mean, it was a defensive battle, and it was super entertaining if you enjoy the defensive side of the ball. But yeah, I just got so frustrated as soon as that punt return back happened. I was like, "Yep, Buffalo's going to end up winning this game."
Yeah.
It's one of those. I've been seeing it since this game ended, and it's been one of the most frustrating things where they just talk about the grit of Josh Allen. You know, he's just such a gritty quarterback, overcoming adversity, leading his team, first guy in, last guy out of the locker. I can't believe that's the takeaway from this game is that Josh Allen carried this team. One of his touchdowns, he literally threw it at the helmet of his offensive lineman, and it bounced 30
up
feet in the air.
Yeah, thank you.
And his receiver bailed him out. That's one of his one touchdowns. And the other touchdown in this game, well, there's 3. One of the other touchdowns was a 95-yard punt return, but Josh Allen he willed his punt returner to just run the whole field and get that touchdown.
He
just
was,
like prime Tom Brady willed his defense to go out there and make sure Tua pooped his pants on the final drive.
Dude, freaking Dan Orlovsky put him down as number 2 for the MVP.
Allen?
Yes, put Josh Allen down as number 2. He went
What?
Lamar, Josh Allen. Yes, in that order.
It's okay. I will talk about Dan Orlovsky real quick because Dan Orlovsky commentated the Pittsburgh Ravens game. That game was a monsoon. Pittsburgh was running the ball all over the Ravens because George Pickens did not have a single target. They were just running the ball. They were controlling the game. They were controlling the time of possession. We were going to kick the game-sealing field goal that pretty much iced the game. And the entire time, Dan Orlovsky's like, you got to find a way to get 14 involved here. You just got to get George Pickens. That's the only way you win this game is get George Pickens. And it's like, dude, there's a monsoon happening at this stadium. You're not throwing the ball to George Pickens. Oh my God, it was unreal to hear. But yeah. Josh Allen had a terrible game and got bailed out by the rest of his team.
Yeah.
And I think if you come away with any other realization of that, you are so blinded by Josh Allen being a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Because he put his team in a position. He had 3 turnovers. They should have lost. He just got lucky that Tua crumbles under the spotlight.
Yeah. The Dolphins are frauds. They're not going to do anything in the playoffs. But here, I want to run through the drives of this game real quick by quarter. In the first quarter, Dolphins started with the ball. Pick. Bills, pick. Dolphins punt. And then the Bills pick. That was the end of the first quarter. It
was a great time. I enjoyed the shit out of it.
And then into the second quarter, completely different story. There were 4 drives, touchdown, 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 and the Bills, I didn't see the play before halftime, but they got stopped at the 3-yard line and time ran out or something like that.
Yeah, it did.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you go from 3 picks to 3 touchdowns? And then the third quarter was punt, fumble. And then the fourth quarter was the fourth quarter. Touchdowns, picks, punt return, everything. What a weird game to
Very
watch.
Weird game. Yeah, I'm with you about Miami in the playoffs, but we will get to playoff discussions.
I just need to talk about it.
Yeah, I know you do. And we're going to kick it to you here in just a minute. Fires can cause extensive damage, ruining your home, business, or property, costing you thousands, if not millions of dollars worth in damages. Fires can also have a more fatal effect on yourself and those you love. All this to say, you need to be prepared in the event of a fire. Western States Fire Protection is an all-in-one life safety service provider with coverage across the entire country west of the Mississippi. They can install new fire protection systems, alarms, inspect current systems, monitor them, and provide 24-hour repair in case of an emergency. Don't wait until your business or property burns to the ground. Be proactive and save yourself time, money, and even your life by making sure that you have an updated fire protection system. Visit www.wsfp.com, that's WSFP, the acronym for Western States Fire Protection.com, and request a quote today, and let them know that Jordan Pryor and Danny Weber at the Fourth Down Fiasco sent you. Western States Fire Protection, protecting lives and property since 1985.
Are you looking for a podcast to advertise your business? Well, you're in luck. Here at the Fourth Down Fiasco, we're looking for show sponsors. Whether you want to be a platinum sponsor and be mentioned at the beginning and end of every episode, or you just want a simple 30 or 60-second ad, we got you covered. If you're interested in having a spot on our show, you can reach us at fourthdownfiasco@gmail.com. That's fourthdownfiasco@gmail.com. We are excited to hear from you and even more excited to have you on the show. Join the Fiasco family now.
All right, welcome back to the Fourth Down Fiasco. I'm here with Danny Weber and Tanner Vinsky, and we're going to be talking about playoff projections, how we think everything is going to shake up.
I'll start.
Sorry, I should have just kicked it to you. My bad.
Yeah, that's fine. I've been talking about it, trying to talk about it.
I know you were the one who was most excited about it.
Well, I keep getting yelled at, so.
Well, now's your time to shine, Daniel.
Now's my time. All right, let's go back. Talk about Houston a little bit. I like Houston, Cleveland. It really can go either way. Cleveland's defense is just really good, and I don't know if Stroud, I don't think, has played a defense that good so far this year that I can remember. Or no?
He played the Steelers.
Yeah. I still like the Browns defense over the Steelers.
I do too.
But yeah, I guess that's comparable. Same division, same kind of build. But the only edge Houston has against Cleveland is being at home. But I don't know how big of an advantage that is for Houston. I don't see them selling out a stadium packed with only their fans. I can see Cleveland traveling well for this game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cleveland on this one. My rule of thumb normally in games like these is go with the quarterback who has the most experience. And, this could be an opportunity for CJ Stroud to really show the world, hey, I am here and I am ready to play.
Yeah.
But, generally speaking, if you have a quarterback who's been there, done that, especially in the first round, it's just so easy to go with them. So I'm going to go with Flacco and the Browns on this one. And also, I just think that, that defensive line for Cleveland is just nasty. I think their defense in general is just nasty. So,
yeah.
Oh, sorry, go for it, Danny.
No, I was just going to say a real quick overview of the playoffs. The scriptwriters went crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
Tyreek back to Kansas City. Stafford back to Detroit. Bringing back Packers, Dallas in the playoffs. Texas to Cleveland with the whole Deshaun Watson stuff. And then if Cleveland ends up winning, Flacco's back in Baltimore. But go ahead, talk about Cleveland, Houston, Tanner.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you guys. As much as I want to pick Houston and as much as I want Houston to win so badly, I think it's going to be such a hard ask to overcome that Cleveland defense.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Texans defense is good enough to really stop Joe Flacco. I think Joe Flacco will have some struggles, but I don't think this is the defense that's going to stop him.
No. But yeah, we all really like Houston, but they're just not a team built to win in the playoffs.
Fair. Who do y'all have for what is that? Dolphins Chiefs.
I have the Chiefs. As much as I don't want to, I just do not like the Dolphins against good teams. And I'm not saying it's not like the Chiefs are a good team in retrospect, but I just don't like Miami. Like Tua can't handle the pressure in a regular season game for a division. What can he do in the playoffs? And Patrick Mahomes, we've seen he can win. We've seen him win. This goes back to experience in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Mahomes and Kelsey fumbling in the first round, but it'll be interesting. But I have Kansas City over Miami.
No, yeah, I think about the same thing. I wanted to go with Dolphins at first, and actually this morning I think I told you I was feeling Dolphins, and the more I thought about it, and the more that I just kind of looked back at how badly they just fell apart against Buffalo. I don't think that Kansas City is going to really do anything else beyond that point, but I think Kansas will figure out a way, whether if it's the same kind of 13-12 kind of win, whatever, they're going to find a way to eke it out.
And I think it's supposed to be like 22 degrees or something and really windy.
No thanks.
So, yeah.
No thanks.
Tanner?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you guys. And honestly, this Chiefs defense is really good. Like, this is a really good Chiefs defense. It's the best defense that Patrick Mahomes has had his entire career. As long as the wide receivers aren't terrorists and lose the game for the Chiefs, they're gonna beat the Dolphins. I don't trust Tua against this defense. I think he's gonna have a really hard game, and I just think the Chiefs are gonna be able to move the ball well enough that it's not really gonna matter what Tua can do, because he's probably gonna throw 2 picks. Yeah. And if the Chiefs get 2 picks, as long as Kadarius Toney doesn't start just running to the wrong end zone, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Or dropping touchdown passes.
MVS dropping wide open touchdown passes and blaming Mahomes for it.
Losing Phillips against the Jets for the Dolphins defense was very hard.
It was tough, yeah.
The Chiefs, if it is that cold, that whole right side is now just going to be open to run. So your 3 tight ends that you have out there, it's not going to be fun.
Yeah. I have Bills over Steelers, and that one's my lock. I'm sorry, Tanner. That one is my lock.
This is, I think, going to be the first one where someone is different.
Ooh.
So Tanner, go ahead. Let's see if you switch it up.
No, what is your pick? Go for it.
I'm taking Buffalo.
I'm taking Buffalo.
I still just can't ride with the Steelers. I don't know.
And here's what I'm going to tell you. The Bills are going to win this game, but I'm not going to pick them.
Yeah.
And the thing is the reason why I'm not going to pick them is because the Steelers are the best team at creating turnovers, and Josh Allen is a turnover machine.
That's true.
That's fair.
And the thing is with this is I don't feel confident in this pick at all because we don't have TJ Watt. Like, I think if we had TJ Watt, this would be a competitive game.
And
I think this is going to be another blowout first-round exit for the Steelers, but everyone's going to be picking this against the Steelers this game. So I'm going to pick them for this game specifically one, just to be different, and two, I think this is the type of game that Pittsburgh's going to fuck around and win.
I could see it.
Just because I think they can get – I think if Mason plays well, if we can control the time of possession, this split backfield with Jalen Warren and Najee Harris, if we can control the pace of the game and we have possession of the ball for the majority of the time, Josh Allen's going to throw 2 picks against this defense.
If Josh Allen have a lot of time, they will they're throw happy.
We're going to get Josh Allen to a 4th down. They're going to go for on some like weird 4th and 7th. And Josh Allen's going to throw it to the end zone instead of,
doing the check down that he needed to.
Do the check down or punting the ball they're going to do stuff like that, and then we're going to be able to like control the time of possession, run the ball out, run against this Bills defense that's been kind of struggling all season long with losing a lot of really valuable pieces. There's a winning formula for the Steelers here that isn't insane.
No, yeah. I could see them pulling it out. But
I don't think it's likely. I don't feel comfortable picking them, but I'm going to do it anyways because I think Josh Allen's a fraud. So.
No, yeah. But I'm scared about your run defense with Watt being out because I like James Cook. He's a solid back. And even just in the passing game itself, if he can just jump down and do a little loop out, like Watt's usually the one that stops those passes. He'll jump.
Definitely.
Yeah,
and losing Watt here is massive.
Mm-hmm.
I wish Watt was playing because we are getting Minka back and we are getting we're getting KZ back from his suspension, and I think one of our other linebackers is getting healthy just in time too.
Yeah.
So the middle of the field is not going to be as wide open as it has been the last few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So getting those pieces back are going to be huge. We can put Patrick Peterson back at corner instead of having him play safety, which has been awful to watch.
Yeah, I don't know
why. Well, we have no other safeties.
Well,
it literally was our only option.
Sign someone. There has to be a safety better than him out there.
I mean, yeah, but it's tough, man. We were on our 6th-string linebacker at some point this year. It's been brutal.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That is
so
brutal.
I wish Watt was healthy because our defense is finally starting to get healthy. And if Watt was healthy, this would have been much more comfortable for me to pick. Yeah. But I'm gonna pick it anyways because I would love to see it, and I'm gonna manifest it. So
here's a thought to think before we move on.
I respect it.
If Mason wins this game, who do you start next year? Pickett or Rudolph?
Mason.
Okay.
Mason.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
Rudolph.
I agree.
Rudolph hasn't proved. Or sorry, not Rudolph. Jesus. Pickett has not proved anything so far. I mean, he looked okay in his one game without Canada, but Rudolph has looked good in all of his games.
Flacco has more touchdown passes in 6 games this year than Rudolph or Pickett does in 2 years.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the other side of the NFL.
Yeah, let's go to the NFC. So, who do we want to start with? Eagles, Bucks?
Let's do that last. We'll start with Dallas.
Okay. Yeah, I have Cowboys over Packers. I mean, we're going to exercise some demons. I think it'll be a fun game in the first half. I think that Jordan Love's going to put up some points. But I think that Green Bay's defense just doesn't have enough juice to keep up with Dallas's offense.
Yeah.
And so, I think it'll be close to the first half, like a 14-10 type of game. And then I think it's just going to fall apart after that, and Dallas is going to jump out to a pretty sizable lead.
Yeah, I do have Dallas in this game, but I do like Jordan Love. I saw a stat.
I do too.
I forget in how many games, maybe the last 5 games or something. Maybe 6. It's something weird, but his touchdown to interception ratio is 18-1.
Oh, sick. Hell
And if he can carry that into the playoffs, that's
huge.
Can be scary for some defenses. So I could see this being like a shootout game. Like I could see the final score being in the 30s.
Fair enough.
I like Jordan Love a lot too, and historically Green Bay has had a really good track record against Dallas, and I think to a degree that does mean something in a game like this, but I think the Dallas roster is far too talented to lose to Green Bay. And Dallas doesn't struggle in the wild card round, so they'll be fine.
No, we always win the first round. It's the second round that we lose.
That things get a little scary.
Green Bay also doesn't have a Hall of Fame quarterback yet playing against Dallas in the playoffs, so...
True.
Yeah, exactly. Our boogeyman was never really Green Bay. Our boogeyman was Aaron Rodgers. Then next we have, what is that, Rams, Lions? That's going to be fun. That is going to be such a fun game.
I'm excited. I'm torn between both these picks. I don't even know who to pick.
I'm going Rams. I think Stafford is going to just put up ungodly numbers in Detroit. I think he's going to get the homecoming that he wants. And I think Stafford's going to do just incredible things on Sunday.
Tanner?
I want to pick the Rams so bad. Like, there's part of me that, like, I can see it in my head. I could see the Rams winning the Super Bowl this year.
It's weird.
As crazy as that is to say, I think Stafford could solidify his Hall of Fame career this season and go on a tear and win the Super Bowl and have 2 rings. And I think if Stafford does that, I think he's a lock for the Hall of Fame.
Oh, their offense is playing well. Their defense is playing well enough.
There's so much about it that I like, and I think it would be such a cool storyline to see the Rams win it. But I'm going to go with the Lions. I think the Lions have much more put into place. I think they're a genuinely scary offense. I think they have a decent defensive line. They just really suck in the secondary. And, I think they're going to be able to overpower the Rams. And as much as I would love to see the Rams go on a run, and I think that they could, I just think this this Detroit offense is too good.
But the Dallas offense is also too good. I agree with you.
The Dallas offense is also good.
No, I do like Detroit's defense, and I think, like you said, the D-line of Detroit, I think that will be the deciding factor is how much time Stafford has to throw. If they can get Puka and Kupp open, it's going to be scary. But it will also go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, you're good. No. You're mid-thought.
And Puka's little crossing route where he's just full sprint across that middle where I feel like he's averaging like 25 yards a catch on that play. If they can cut that down and eliminate Puka's big plays, I can see Detroit winning. It's the playoffs for the reason. Every single game can go one way or the other.
I think this is going to be the most fun game to watch out of all the wild card games.
I agree. Yeah, I also just think that again, defending the Rams on this one, Aaron Donald, he's the type of guy that whenever the lights shine brightest, he steps up his game, and Goff is going to be under duress the entire game. Aaron Donald is going to wear that man like a hat.
Don't forget Goff went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Yeah, on the Rams, right?
Yeah, but still, he took a team to the Super Bowl.
No, I'm not saying anything bad about Goff. I'm just saying Aaron Donald will be breathing down his neck every play.
Yeah.
And you can be a good quarterback, and pressure still affects everyone, even the best.
Will Donald be going against Sewell?
I couldn't tell you the offensive lineman's name.
Yeah, who's their right guard? Sewell's the tackle, isn't he?
He's a tackle, and I'm pretty sure he's a left tackle.
Is he? I thought it was a right tackle.
I'll look him up real quick.
All right. Why you leave that?
Oh, he plays both sides.
Oh, well, never mind then.
Well, I think you're about to kick it to the last game, Danny. Yep. Eagles, Bucks.
If Baker can play like he did a couple weeks ago, where Baker is just having fun playing football like he is in the backyard, I'm taking the Bucks to win. I don't like the Eagles defense. I don't know what happened to the Eagles. Sirianni, in a span of 7 weeks, has lost this team completely. And I just want to see Tampa.
He shouldn't have talked. He should have talked all that shit to those KC fans, bro. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He jinxed himself.
I've never seen a team crumble as fast as the Eagles have this year.
I know.
Well,
I really thought that they had that 2 seed locked.
I thought they had the 1 seed.
Well, yeah, I thought they had the 1 seed. But then they started to trail off though, and so then I was like, okay, San Fran will take that number 1.
I think they were 11-1.
They were something stupid.
They lost 5 of their last 6, if I'm remembering correctly.
They were 10-1. They finished 11-6.
Crazy.
So they were 10-1.
Unreal behavior.
And finished with a 5 seed.
Yeah. Went 1-5 their last 6 games. That's crazy.
I feel like the only team you can compare this to, sorry Tanner, is that Steelers
is the
team
2020
that went
Steelers.
11-1.
Yep. They went 11-0.
11-0. Well, yeah, and then they 11-1 after that week.
To be fair, the difference between those two teams is the Steelers never looked good even during their 11-0 stretch. The Eagles did look good at the beginning of the year.
Their
So this feels like
what happened.
This feels like a much bigger collapse than it did with the Steelers. Like the Steelers team was just kind of inevitability. Like they were just winning games they weren't supposed to win.
Yeah, it was
constantly.
a weird year for you guys.
Whereas this Eagles team feels like the team just absolutely crumbled. It wasn't like they stopped. Like they just stopped playing to their expectations. I don't know. It was weird to watch.
1 week to the other, they just crumbled.
Yeah, it wasn't just like a bunch of bad breaks or anything like that. They're losing. They are genuinely losing games every week. I still think that the Eagles pull it out barely. I think it's going to be a close, ugly game. I don't know. I have a hard time, especially after seeing the Bucs only put up 9 points against the Panthers.
Yeah. That's my worry about taking him. But Baker, he's weird.
Hey, yeah, Baker's the type of dude. He can either throw for 120 yards and 3 interceptions or 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. Which Baker you get.
And as weird as it to say, the Panthers' defense is a lot better than the Eagles' defense.
That's so sad. That is so sad.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna follow suit. This is actually the game I'm gonna lock. I'm gonna say the Bucs are gonna beat the Eagles.
Nice.
Ooh.
I think the Eagles team it's fallen apart. Jalen Hurts has pretty much been exposed over the last 6 weeks here. He is not playing quarterback at a high level. He's not doing anything.
Not very quarterbacky.
Yeah, it's
the
just
only
not
way he gets a
looking
touchdown
good.
is by someone touching his butt into the end zone.
Yeah, and you can't QB sneak at 75 yards. So
no,
I mean, there's not enough that the Eagles do right now that I genuinely think is impressive or effective at a playoff level.
No.
And the Bucs at least have some upside. I don't know. Like the Bucs can have Baker play at a high level. They have a good receiving core. They have good pieces on their defense. They have a great running game with Rashad White.
And once again, they're at home.
And they're at home. I just don't really see the Eagles winning this game. They just look terrible on that defense. It can't stop anybody.
No.
Fair enough.
So,
all right, to close out, let's talk Super Bowl predictions. Just obviously, we're gonna post on Twitter our entire brackets. But yeah, who do you guys have in the Super Bowl? Who do you think's gonna win?
Go ahead, Tanner.
So I'm gonna quickly run down some weird division stuff and get to there. So, for my bracket, the way it's looked, it's got the 7-seed Steelers going to the 1-seed Ravens. I'm gonna be a psychopath. I'm gonna pick the Steelers to beat Lamar. And then it's going to have the 5-seed Browns going to the Kansas City. I'm going to pick Kansas City in that game. And then going through the conference championship game, I'm going to pick the Chiefs to beat the Steelers, obviously, because there's no way they would make it to the Super Bowl. Then we go into the division round on the other side. I'm picking 49ers over Bucks, and then I'm picking Lions over Cowboys. Again, the Cowboys' history of not being able to make it out of the second round, unfortunately.
Fair.
And then in the conference championship there, I'm going to pick the 49ers over the Lions, just with the dominance of the 49ers team this year. So I'm predicting a rematch of the Super Bowl. I think that was 2019 of the 49ers.
Oh, with Garoppolo.
With the 49ers and the Chiefs. I feel like this has been inevitable for a few years that we see these two teams face off against each other. But again, with the Chiefs' struggles offensively, their defense can only carry them so far. I think that 49ers team is way too complete. I'm going to pick the 49ers to win it this time around instead of the Chiefs.
Okay.
All right.
Danny?
I'm going to leave my divisional and conference championships a secret. You'll see my Super Bowl predictions, but I have both number 1 seeds in the Super Bowl. The Ravens defense is good, and if Lamar can keep playing like he is, the last time he played dropped 5 touchdowns, and the week before that I think he dropped 4. But in the Super Bowl for what is that rematch of 2013 when all the lights went out?
Yep.
Boom.
Harbaugh Bowl.
As much as I hate it, I think the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl.
Well, I'm going to go a completely different direction.
I wonder where you're going.
Oh, no.
The boys.
I have the Browns in the Super Bowl.
Whoa. Wait, so did the Browns bring back Deshaun Watson if they go to the Super Bowl with Flacco?
Will he?
No,
No. And Flacco becomes a Hall of Famer at that point too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any quarterback that takes the Browns to the Super Bowl is
a Hall of Famer. Yes, instantly. But yeah, so I have what is that? It'd be Browns over Ravens the way that my bracket is set up, and then I'd have Bills over KC for that divisional game. Then I have the Browns beating the Bills just because I think the defense is too stout and they're going to just absolutely wreak havoc on Josh Allen. And then in the NFC, of course, I have the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. But I have no choice. I have no choice but to.
You got the Madden Bowl. I feel like every time you
Yeah.
play Madden, you sim a season. It's Browns, Cowboys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, law of averages. You got to regress back to the mean somehow.
Yeah.
So.
I'm telling you right now, Jordan. If it's Browns Cowboys in the Super Bowl, I'm rooting for the asteroid. I'm telling you that. I don't think I can watch that game.
Both fan bases would be insufferable. Yeah, both of us.
Jordan has already.
Yeah.
Jordan, before the season even started, told the people we work with that if the Cowboys win or make the Super Bowl, he is going to be the worst human being possible in the office.
Oh, yes. I'm going to be disgusting. So, yeah, that's why y'all just have to hope that we just never make it, which odds are in your favor right now. So, yeah. But,
well, Danny's got the most realistic bracket, so good for you, Danny.
Yes.
Realism. Someone has to, right?
Nah, I had to do something spicy, so in case the shit comes true, I can go back to the old tweet and be like, I called it. And then the podcast becomes viral.
Viral.
I'm doing this for y'all.
Hey, I went a little spicy. I put the Steelers in the AFC Championship game. So if that happens,
that is hot.
You guys with
spicy.
your
That
AFC
is
North
good.
team, something else, right?
Yeah, right.
I guess I have the AFC North team in there too.
Yeah, you do too. Shut up.
They're the 1 seed. They're not a 5 and 7 seed.
I picked the 49ers to win. All right, give me a break.
Yeah, you took the safe bet. That takes us pretty much to the end of our time. I do know, Danny, you did have something that you wanted to mention before we let the folks go.
Yes. So our couple listeners might wonder.
Our 12 followers on TikTok, baby. Woo!
They might wonder what we are doing after the NFL season is over. Yes, we started in week 13?
Yeah.
We started late into the season. It was a last-minute idea to do this. We like talking football. However, right after the Super Bowl, we'll probably do a recap of the season, talk about the Super Bowl, everything like that. The week after, we're going to do a March Madness episode. All 3 of us are going to make a bracket. The winner gets a jersey of some type.
But wait, they don't have fourth downs in basketball.
What? They have 4 quarters.
Fair enough.
Close enough.
So yeah, that would be an episode. We'll still talk football. There'll be football to talk about because starting in March, the new UFL is starting with the XFL and USFL merger. But along with all of that, we still have free agents, the draft, the combine. There's still NFL news to talk about. And then in May, Jordan is so excited for this, as am I. I don't know how, I can't speak for Tanner.
Drum roll.
But the European League of Football, aka the ELF, is starting in May. And we are going to be the #1 ELF podcast in the world. because I cannot find another one.
And Danny's already built like a tall elf, so it works.
Yep. Apparently.
All right. Well, cool. Thanks everyone for listening to the show. All 12 of our followers on TikTok. We appreciate y'all.
Hey, we appreciate everyone. We're doing this for fun.
For sure. No, this has been a great time. So, but yeah, we'll see y'all next week. See ya.
See ya.
R.I.P. Pittsburgh Maulers.
Well, I like school, and I like football, and I'm gonna keep doing them both because they make me feel good.